Hi YouTube family, Lisa A. Romano here, the ACOA Life Coach, coming to you today to talk about detachment and how we can apply the strategy for detachment to our everyday lives, especially during the holiday season, which is upon us. So those of us from dysfunctional homes have been wounded as children. So we come from homes where they had no respect for our boundaries. They said inappropriate things. They embarrassed us. They minimized us. They were disrespectful. They enjoyed making fun of us at our expense, or they were indifferent to what we felt. They really showed no interest in what's going on, they showed no interest in our lives when we were younger and aren't even aware that they're not showing interest in our adult lives. They might want to know where we are, what we're doing, and how much money we make, and what our husbands do for a living or what our girlfriends do for a living, but we don't have a true connection to our parents. So their heart chakras are blocked. They're full of energetic blocks from their own childhood. And the real shame of it is that they're not aware that they're blocked. We're very fortunate because we're born into a different vibrational reality. And we're born in an age of YouTube and Google. And we don't have to run to the library like our parents used to do to look up codependency. As a matter of fact, there was no concept of codependency back in the 60s and the 50s and the 40s. There was no, an ACOA, the concept was non-existent. It was all about the alcoholic. And what we understand now in today's age is that this is the age of true enlightenment and technology, and how technology can actually bridge enlightenment and bring enlightenment or the ideas of enlightenment to the masses, which is, we're very thankful, and we should be thankful. I know that I am. And so having said that, the holiday season is upon us. And so how can we use, as codependents and adult children of alcoholics, because we have to accept that we really are as sick as the alcoholic if we're unrecovered. And what do I mean by that? Codependency it's not like cancer. I say this in one of my books. It's not like cancer. You can't go to the doctor and say, I feel sick. I need a CAT scan. The doctor can't do that. He can't find this codependent enmeshed idea of looking at the world, he can't find it on a CAT scan. It's not gonna be there. Codependency is really, it's not an easy thing to explain because it is us. What I mean by that is it is the way that we see ourselves. It is the filter, if you will, that we see ourselves through, and that we see the world through, that we see others through, that we see relationships through. So it's sort of like, if you're codependent and you were born in, you come from a dysfunctional family, then you're probably codependent, meaning that you really do worry about what other people think about you at the expense of what you think about yourself. And so the agenda becomes, how can I manipulate what that person thinks about me so they like me? How can I get that guy to like me? How can I get that girl to like me? How can I convince them that I'm good? How can I get their approval and their validation? That's really a screen that we filter every perception through. And until we learn to detach from that type of thinking, we're screwed. I mean, really, because if we don't learn how to detach from that way of thinking, then we go on thinking our thoughts through this screen that is just that keeps us locked in the world of illusion. It is an illusion, dear one, that you're not enough. It is an illusion that you need to prove yourself to anyone. It is an illusion that your thoughts and your feelings and your desires and your dreams are invalid. That's an illusion. So the screen in which you see self and you see the world through is really, it's a screen that causes you to live below a veil. And the veil prevents you from reaching the point of enlightenment where you understand that I am everything and everything is me. I mean, really, I believe that DNA is the seed of God. And deeper than that, that DNA is what makes us God-like. It is divinity naturally activated. And so what we need to understand is that we are divine naturally. And all we need to do is activate that DNA. And we can truly be godlike. And what I mean by that, and I don't mean that in a blasphemous way, what I mean by that is we can step into a deliberate creating role. So if we look at the world, it's too ridiculous to believe that everything is just by chance. I mean, if you think about the way the eye works, when you think about a peacock, when you think about evolution and how a hummingbird over the years, a hummingbird's nose grew longer, beak grew longer and longer, so it could suck the nectar out of a flower, because it needed high calories, because its heart beats so fast, so it can't eat seeds like a regular bird, an everyday bird. It needs high calories. It needs high sugar to support the fact that its heart beats so fast. So it's too ridiculous and phantasmical to think that, we aren't designed by a blueprint. We absolutely are. Now, this is the really cool thing. When you're able to detach from your pain body, when you're able to say the pain is an illusion, what I mean by that is, yes, it's real, but it's only real because you give it a meaning. So your past is only bad because your psychology and your ego is saying that experience was bad. An amazing shift happens when you get to a point where, this is one of my strategy steps that I use with my clients all the time, is imagine yourself being light years above the earth. So imagine yourself standing on top of the earth. Now you're standing on top of the earth and you're looking around. Now, as an enlightened being, you look up and you see the stars, and you look down and you see the earth below you, and you look to the left and you see more stars and maybe see more planets. You look to the right, you see more planets. You turn all the way around. You imagine what's going on behind you. The reason that's really important is because that gives you the idea of how you're supposed to live your life. You're supposed to live your life looking above and around and below and behind you. Codependents look straight ahead. And what happens is, looking straight ahead, they do that because they lived in survival for so many years. Being abused as children, you had to live in survival. And what do you do when you live in survival? You look around. You look right in front of you. You're looking for the next attack, which served you when you were 6. But now, you're 26, you're 36, 46, 66, whatever. That's not going to work. That's going to make you crazy. It's going to make you paranoid. And then your brain chemistry is going to match the paranoia, and then you're really screwed. So, winding it all back, what we have to understand is that when we imagine ourselves really, really big and tall, like light years above the earth, really grow. Imagine yourself like growing, and now you're standing on top of the planet. You're standing on top of Earth and you're looking around. You gain such a greater perspective of the divinity that you are and the connection that you have to everything. And it's from that place, that higher realm of consciousness, where you can begin to detach from the pain. When you begin to detach from the pain, then you're able to say, oh, okay, the reason that still hurts is because when I look back in my history, I've attached my psychology, and my ego has attached a meaning to that experience. And so without stepping into the higher realm of consciousness, it's really impossible to let that go. Just let that go so you can keep deliberately creating, moving forward. So as creators, we really are creating whether we're aware of it or not. So when we're looking out in front of us and we're like looking for criticism, and we're criticizing others and they're criticizing us, what we're doing is we're creating more of that. We're creating more of that. So we're creating by default, but we're creating nonetheless. Because that's what God does. God creates, right? So the divinity that is really indifferent to your experience, because love is all accepting. And so I love my children so much that even when they screw up, I still love them, right? So I love my children so much, and I've learned to love them in a healthy way. For 11 years, I didn't love them in a healthy way. I thought I did, but now from the greater perspective that I've gained, now I love my children even when they're not very loving to me. I'm like, all right, I know who I am. Like, I'm a good mother. I'm doing the best I can. I've tried to teach you to do the right thing. Don't drink and drive. Don't be fresh to police officers because they're going to lock your ass up. Don't steal. Be kind to people. Be good to people. Love yourself so that you can bestow that love on others. So I know that I've done the right thing, and I love them. And as I love them and teach them, I let them go. Now, I understand that their life experience is their life experience. So I was their mothership, like in the ocean, right? And I had these other baby ships that I kept on my ship, and now it's time to set them out into the ocean, and now they've got to do with their life, and they've got to steer their life in the direction that they believe they need to go in. And I have to, as a mother who's detached from the outcome of their lives, because I got my own life to live. I'm making YouTube videos. I'm a life coach. I'm writing books. I'm developing personal strategies, and I'm putting together programs and developing cruises. I can't be worried about what my kids are doing. That's their experience. And so that's sort of how God loves us. Like, listen, this is your life. This is the tools I'm giving you. I've coded your DNA with the ability to create deliberately. And I love you whether you believe that I'm in you or not. I love you whether you grasp that greater is he who lives in me than in he who is of the world. Like, if you don't get what that means, I love you anyway. So if you turn from me, I love you anyway. If my children take what I've taught them and they make magnificent life experience out of that, I love them no more or no less than if they don't do that. So that's what pure love is. Pure love is not attachment. I love you anyway. This is what I'm willing to do for you. This is what I'm not willing to do with you. I gave you this life experience. I'm giving you these tools. I believe in you because I know I'm in you. So I tell my children all the time, like, your life experience is your life experience. Whatever you got going on up here, kiddo, is going to create the life experience you have. And I'm not going to take responsibility for that, especially since I've been so conscious about the kind of life lessons that I'm teaching them. And so, dear one, this video is all about detachment and teaching you how to detach from your emotions, detach from the meanings that you give your childhood and your past experiences. If you can detach from the meaning of being violated, just, yes, you were violated. Now observe that. That is going to be the next video. But observe the feelings that come up when you think about that experience. Observe them from a detached place. Sort of like being light years above the earth and looking down and observing the experience rather than experiencing the experience. In one of my next videos, I'm going to talk about quantum jumping and quantum realities and really jumping from a physical, experiencing the wound in the now, and then doing a quantum leap, if you will, or jumping quantumly into a higher realm of consciousness deliberately. So it's like living the yin and the yang. When you're truly recovered, you begin to understand that you can experience a difficult moment or a challenging time without enmeshing with the emotions of that experience. That's possible to do. And that's what great masters do. And so I hope this video has encouraged you and made you feel more empowered and has given you a greater perspective and an understanding of what it means to detach, what it means to have a higher perspective, what it means to stop reacting, get off the ground floor, get out of the basement of life, use your brain to the best, to all its power, raise your thoughts, get higher and higher and higher and higher, and look down at your experiences and don't attach to them. My name is Lisa A. Romano. I'm a life coach for adult children of alcoholics as well as adult children of narcissistic parents who've been abused by the people that were supposed to love them. Please check out my website at www.healingselfesteem.com. And please leave your comments, subscribe to the channel, and share it, because when you do, you share the love. My books are The Road Back to Me, My Road Beyond the Codependent Divorce, Loving Yourself Affirmations, and Quantum Tools to help you heal your life now. Woohoo! Enjoy your day, everybody. Bye.